I'm a happy type person. I smile a lot.
Britney, please come back.
She's a Scorpio. What else do you need to know?
I'm a double Scorpio.
Double Scorpio.
She evidently collapsed in the bathroom.
E.T. uncovers the details behind Brittany Murphy's tragic end.
The 32-year-old who gained fame in movies like Clueless, Girl Interrupted, and 8 Mile.
With questions still surrounding her Hollywood home and the suspicious spouse who died in an eerily similar way.
We don't know why things work out the way they do.
We're conducting an investigation into the death of Brittany Murphy.
What was the address of the emergency?
1895 Rising Glen Road.
The address, Brittany's Hollywood Hills home, a space shared with her mom Sharon and husband of 2 years, Simon Monjack.
Tell me exactly what happened.
My daughter's passed out. She was dizzy. She couldn't walk right. She's had a cold. Oh my God.
That's Sharon's frantic 911 call nearly 20 years after the mother and daughter set out to attain Britney's dreams of stardom.
Is someone coming?
Yeah, ma'am.
Well, I think they knew that she was sick because she'd had this terrible laryngitis. And there was a period at about 3 o'clock in the morning, she was gasping for breath, and she actually said, "I think I'm going to die."
Can you feel or hear any breathing?
No.
Okay, all right, listen to me carefully.
Were you there when they said she didn't make it?
They let us know at the same time that she hadn't made it.
But we knew before that. It was just, you saw the life go out of her.
I saw them come around the corner of the house with her on a gurney. And there was one fireman trying to resuscitate her, trying to put things down her throat. And she was totally yellow.
We come out, we look at everything, any prescription meds that we do take. We will have to analyze everything and go from there.
The coroner says the death appears to be of natural causes.
Britney was buried here alongside countless stars at Forest Lawn Cemetery. A known lover of all things Christmas, the actress was ironically laid to rest on Christmas Eve.
I love Miracle on 34th Street because it's about believing.
That doesn't make sense, Mommy.
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to.
I love the magic of belief. It's beautiful.
She was such a talent. I really loved her.
Very sad, and a lot of questions obviously swirling around what happened.
One of the biggest questions,
an autopsy is planned reportedly against the wishes of her husband.
Who was Britney's husband? And what led to his death in the same house under the same circumstances as Britney?
Britney died of 3 causes: pneumonia, anemia, and a toxic mix of prescription drugs.
Their romance coming as Britney's career took a hit.
It was reported this week that actress Brittany Murphy was fired from her upcoming film The Caller for being a detriment to production, and oh no. Brittany Murphy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blink 182.
You are not the host, Brittany Murphy.
SNL took shot at her just weeks before her death, and in the weeks that followed, Simon became a surprising mouthpiece for Britney's legacy.
To set the record straight for once and for all, Britney was not taking any medication for her mood, for anorexia, for any kind of mental illness, and it's just utterly ridiculous.
The question is, how did somebody get to this point?
The answer goes back to Sharon Murphy's bold move in the early 90s when she and her daughter traded New Jersey for the West Coast, betting on teenage Britney's talent in Hollywood.
Topanga's my best friend. She's always my partner. You know, there are so few people who get me.
Really now?
Oh, yeah.
The Britney bet paid off quick. She scored scene-stealing spots on the small screen, followed by her big break.
Wow. You guys talk like grown-ups. Most teenagers are going through a stage in your life where they don't exactly, I guess, know what's right for them, and they're all pretty much clueless.
Be seeing ya.
Yeah, I hope not sporadically.
Was Ty anything like Britney?
Sure. We look a hell of a lot alike.
Your parents would kill you.
Come on, I love them. You know they only had me because Peter needed that kidney.
Britney came up in a generation packed with future A-listers, acting alongside Kirsten Dunst and Angelina Jolie.
Give me the Valium. We don't need your daddy's money. Then leave it there. I just feel really proud to be a part of it.
There was a very beautiful
magical cloud that kind of hung over the whole thing, in my opinion.
Britt's proven potential for both comedy and drama landed her on sets with established stars like Michael Douglas and Drew Barrymore.
If y'all think you're so great for being here, then don't bother talking to me either. Okay? I'll never tell. I'll never tell.
Acting to me is visceral. It's not too cerebral. So it's not something that I could verbalize very well. It just sort of, I can feel what's going on when it's going on. And it is my job.
Britney's next job, bringing Eminem's origin story to the big screen in 8 Mile.
I hear you're a real dope rapper.
A dope rapper?
Yeah.
Who told you I was a dope rapper?
You know, it's around. The first time I met Marshall, he was probably one of the first people I've ever met in my life that immediately made me feel very comfortable with being any aspect of myself that I would want to possibly be, which was really, it's a healthy thing to be around people like that.
Brittany Murphy.
The success put Britney on the SNL stage in late 2002, only 7 years out from Abby Elliott's Weekend Update takedown.
I'll never tell. I've had it with all the late night commotion to stop the emotion and turn your devotion to me, Miss B.
At the time, Britt had 2 movies locked and loaded, the peak of a career cut short.
You're my new nanny?
Hi, Lorraine.
It's Ray. Nobody calls me Lorraine.
Okay, Ray.
It's these 2 girls and sort of their journey to find themselves. Molly teaches Ray how to be a child and enjoy life, and Ray teaches Molly and helps her on her journey to become an adult.
Grown-ups never stay friends with kids.
I don't see any grown-ups around here.
I do.
Britney's leading roles paid for that fateful home in 2003, a high-end house she bought from another Britney.
Brittany, right here, please. Brittany.
The property came with its own lore, a former makeup artist for Spears claiming it was haunted.
I had my friend do Reiki healing on her. He left. She swears to God that he opened some spirit portal or something, and these bad spirits had come in, and they were trying to push her down the stairs or something crazy. It was so bad that she left and never went back to that house again. She put her house on the market, and guess who bought that house?
But years before Britney and her husband died inside the mansion nestled amongst the Hollywood Hills, there was Ashton.
We
learned fluent
Italian.
For real?
Yeah.
Yes, you want to hear? Pavaratoro, ciao Valentini.
La si Venezia.
Samanerio, Savargini.
But how often are we in Europe?
How often are the Dodgers on TV in Europe?
What happened was it was 10 months later. We both, after the picture was finished, went away to do our own different movies across the world from each other, and then just met up because we missed each other as buddies. And during the film, I had a broken heart and he was in a relationship, so that was the farthest thing from either one of our minds. But now things are quite different.
Their chemistry with each other was obvious the first time they sat across from each other, and all of us who were there knew it.
Usually on the wedding night.
We got the theme song then.
The 2 stars, both funny, successful, and trendsetters.
Couldn't have 2 nicer, cooler people dating each other. They it's like white on white. They out-cool each other,
This is my cousin Bo.
Yeah, Bo Duke.
I'm Luke Duke. This is Daisy Duke. We're the Duke cousins.
Yeah.
Welcome over Halloween.
We thought we were hell dressed in a costume. We're really excited to be at a real live Hollywood party.
Absolutely.
Him and Brittany are awesome together. They're really cute.
Oh man, I take things one day at a time. I'm not naive to relationships, and I really care about her, and she's an amazing woman, and if everything goes to me, I'm in no position to get married right now.
Of course, he was ready to marry after their months-long romance cooled. Ashton and Demi Moore said "I do" in 2005 with the ever-positive Britney's stamp of approval.
They're extraordinary human beings individually, and as one even more so. What an incredibly great couple, and I feel so overwhelmingly happy for both of them. They're just perfect for each other, so it's just really It's so nice. It's really cool.
Years later, in the wake of Britney's death, Ashton remembered his past love on Twitter, writing, "Today the world lost a little piece of sunshine. See you on the other side, kid."
How do you make sense of what happened?
I don't know if you try to make sense of it or not. I mean, I just celebrate who she was. She was always like the first person to dance. You know when you go to a party and like everybody's standing around and the music's going, and you know sooner or later everyone's gonna dance. She was always the first person to dance.
If I'm having a great day, I talk to you. I'm happy to you. It'll make your day better. Energies in general are contagious, so are smiles. Catch one.
Looking for somebody.
On a night like this, everybody's looking for somebody stranger.
I could see this being taught in film classes 20 years from now. I often hear the words, everything's been done before. This hasn't. It was like watching a dream, and you're still sort of stung by it when you wake up.
Dwight, he was from a while back, before you showed up again with that new face of yours.
Despite modest parts and big screen hits, Britney's career was stalling. Her final run of movies were mostly paycheck parts.
So if I could find the optimum place to trigger the second quake, you really think this is going to work?
Meanwhile, in 2007, Britney tied the knot with screenwriter Simon, despite her inner circle's concern over the Brits' checkered past.
She was everything he ever wanted. She was beautiful and smart, and she loved him, and she was his entrance into show business.
Grandma Dee Dee is coming. My aunt's husband's dead father's widow. Thank you, Aunt Peggy.
I definitely think it's the best show on television. I may be a little bit biased because I've been doing the show for 10 years and working with whom I consider my second family for 10 years.
Her King of the Hill family included Kathy Najimy, who didn't hold back about Simon in HBO's documentary, What Happened, Brittany Murphy.
That was during a little dip she was having that he came along. And I think that's where her judgment was muddled and desperate, and she became prey to things that she thought would help her.
Her career was not going well. It brought him into a place that he'd always wanted to be.
How long have you guys been married now?
8 months.
Wow, what's it like?
It's wonderful.
Are you really enjoying it? You guys at that stage still?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's just unbelievable.
It's been a month since you lost her. How are you doing, Simon? How are you holding up?
I don't think I am. I don't think either of us are. No. You wake up in the morning, and it's like a rebirth.
Britney had actually not been to a doctor's office and seen a doctor in over 6 weeks at the time she died. On Friday afternoon, they'd finally made an appointment for her to go to the doctor on Monday. And of course, she never made it to the doctor on Monday.
I wish I could say I was more surprised when it happened, just because of that, it's her business, whatever, but that toxic guy she was with, Simon.
Simon also proved bad for business.
I thought you were shooting a movie right now.
Yeah, they fired me.
In fact, on day one of filming The Caller in Puerto Rico, Simon caused chaos on set.
She was unhappy with the script because he tried to be her representative. She wouldn't confront the producer and director. He confronted him, and they said, well, he goes or you're out. And she said, goodbye.
When the movie comes out, I'm gonna go to the theater and say, boo. And then the audience will join in and say, boo. And the director will say, ah, dang.
They stayed a few days in Puerto Rico, and Simon and Sharon got bad colds, and they came home with them. Within a matter of days, Britney caught their cold, and she got quite ill. The last 10 days of her life, she had the worst laryngitis of her life. She was suffering from anemia. She was losing a lot of blood. At the time she died, she had 1/4 the normal red blood count. And then the pneumonia was filling her lungs with fluid at the same time. And what was even worse was she couldn't take care of herself. That last night, she was mostly worried about her mom and her husband.
In her final days, Britney looked to a fresh start on the East Coast, planning a career comeback.
She laid on the bed for quite a while Simon and Sharon were discussing the logistics of moving to New York and the future plans. She got up and went out on the porch, and she said, I can't breathe. She was having trouble breathing, and she was very weak. And she was trying to be there for everybody else, and she could barely be there for herself. She kind of retreated to the bathroom, which was her room. And she'd go in there sometimes for hours and sing to herself and read poetry and do stuff. It was kind of her room. Simon used to joke it was the Britney-sized room because she was only 5'2", and it was a small room, and it made her feel good to be there. And that's the room where she died.
It's a small world. Philip E. Ryan, who was a very close friend of mine, lived 5 houses from Britney. So literally we were there when the sirens were going on and we didn't know what it was.
First, Simon put her into a cold shower to try and revive her. Her mother was with her and frantically trying to help her. And then they called 911.
Brittany, please come back.
And they're in frantic. I mean, Britney was their life. Obviously, her mother had built her whole life around Britney, but so had Simon.
When we all heard it was terrible. I mean, Britney was, she was a bottle of soda. She was the sun.
What other reason is there not to smile? I woke up today. Life. Thank you, Lord.
And for her to pass away like that and in such a way and in such a toxic relationship, it just was terrible.
In the aftermath, Simon's red flags laid bare. The 40-year-old claimed he was setting up a foundation in her honor, but to many, it was a clear cash grab scam. There was also an awkward press tour with Sharon, with curious portraits taken in January, alongside tough-to-watch TV sit-downs.
Hollywood is a village, and once you upset the villagers, they talk, and they gossip, and they rumor, and they have blood on their hands.
Then, on May 23, 2010, Sharon discovered Simon unconscious just feet from where she found Britney. And while online theories about mold and secret poisoning persist, Britney and Simon's official causes of death were simple: pneumonia and anemia, after playing fast and loose with their health care.
They were in touch with a doctor and they were getting medications, but they were choosing which ones to use and how to use them and when to use them. And so in a sense, they were self-medicating in that way.
You know, it's a man who loved his wife and his mother-in-law. She's devastated. She's lost a daughter and a son-in-law in less than 6 months, and I think she's probably handling it the best that she could under the circumstances.
Sharon sold the Hollywood Hills home. A teardown removed all traces of its tragic history.
They were still, still in mourning, but focused, moving forward, excited about the future.
In my career thus far, I've been very fortunate to be a part of a couple of films that actually did change pop culture.
You're a virgin who can't drive. Oh, that was way harsh, Ty.
Clueless was the first film. Even if it was little tiny things, there's still little bits of, just little hand signals or words that still have just made it into pop culture.
Way harsh, Ty.
I always see 3 versions of a character: the one you read, the one you feel when you're doing it, and then the one you see.
While Britney's sudden death still hits hard, her co-stars remember how she lived.
I worked with Britney, actually. We did a film together called Riding in Cars with Boys, and we got very close. She was a force. She was a good friend. She was very empathic. She was a very good, kind person.
I would have never really anticipated that my life would have been in the pictures before it would have been, performing in front of people with a microphone.
Another time, she was cast as Janis Joplin in a movie at Paramount, and she was brilliant. She blew everybody away.
For nothing left to lose, nothing. That's all the Bible left me.
It was a 9-hour screen test, and that screen test would just rank up there with, probably one of the top 2 or 3 best experiences ever in my life.
What happened? They could never get the music rights. The movie never got made. Her bad luck again. And there was a lot of that.
Like heaven above me.
She was such a good singer. And seeing how many people now cross over into music and movies, I was like, I would have loved to have seen Britney do that.
Baby, you're the best.